Our next guest is a creative force of nature, the mastermind behind the iconic hip-hop supergroup, the Wu-Tang Clan, an accomplished director and an actor, and the creator of the hit series Wu-Tang and American Saga, now in its third and final season on HULU. Ladies and gentlemen, here in the South by Southwest studio, for the first time, give it up for RZA.
Thank you.
Sir.
That felt good.
That felt good?
Yeah.
The elder statesmen of hip hop, when they enter, we give them respect.
Bon,
we literally give you the flowers.
Oh.
We met one time, and of course it was very memorable. It was 4 years ago, Penn Station. I'm about to go home to Virginia, and I'm like, that's RZA. And I went up to you, and I'm like, yo, RZA. And I felt like, can you take a photo? And you're like, I don't know, man. Okay. And then you took a photo in front of everyone, and I told everyone, I'm like, hey, man, RZA was so cool. He took a photo with me, and I sent them, like, no, he didn't. I said, like, proof of life.
Right.
I sent the photo, and all my boys are like, bro, that's amazing.
Wow.
So first of all, thank you
My
for being
pleasure.
cool. Second of all, thank you for giving me cred with my homies who grew up with the Wu-Tang.
Respect.
And the fact that you're here, we were talking right before we started, we're dads now.
Yeah.
We're middle-aged dads with honorable dad bods.
Yep.
You've gone through the hip-hop phase. You have evolved in many ways. You've matured like wine.
Oh, definitely matured. The funny thing about me is I started, musically looking through old records, trying to find samples, and didn't know what a C chord was, right? Just knew the sound I wanted. And now I'm composing scores for movies and writing ballets. So I think I evolved, and I think I matured.
And it's just for me as a fan, it just, it's like, wow, he's expanding, he's stretching, he's taking the fame from Wu-Tang and going into these different places and also paving the way for other hip hop artists. You don't have to be in a box.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes even, there's so much work in the entertainment world, and it's all artistry. To me, the cameraman is an artist, the gaffer is an artist. Everybody has an artistic nature. You just got to find which way to express it. And me, myself, I'm constantly just finding ways to tell the story, retell the story, advance the story. So, of course, music is my first love. I fell in love with film. I realized that I could put together a story, put together a team of people, and have it acted out. And of course, I had great teachers, from Jim Jarmusch to Tarantino, John Woo. Those are my three directors.
Can't go wrong with those three.
Can't go wrong. That's better than in college.
Those are some 90s deep cuts.
Yeah, deep cuts. But being able to understand from one level of art, and then knowing that I could expand and multiply it to another level of art, just something that I'm very comfortable with. People say, what are you? What are you, a director, an actor, a rapper? I said, listen, I'm an artist. All right? If you give me a piece of paper and a pencil right now, I'm going to get something out of it. You know what I mean? Because I'm an artist.
And I think hip-hop artists in particular, just looking at their career, they've been really good at saying, you can't just put me in a box. They act, they direct, in the anime. What is it about hip-hop stars in particular that, they're musicians, but people are like, you're a storyteller. I think you'd be a natural actor. Because our generation, we grew up, Ice-T was a rapper.
Right.
And now Ice-T is on Law and Order. People and our kids are like, oh, the actor Ice-T.
Right.
LL Cool J.
Yeah, but I think it's like the art in hip hop, it actually comes from our childhood of what we saw. So, we're a generation that had all the records of the soul or the James Brown and Funkadelic, and we're a generation that watched all the animation when Voltron and and Battle of the Planets, and then the Saturday afternoon Kung Fu and the comic books. So we're a generation that consumed all that in our hands, not just in our phones. And I think that all those different things that we consumed, we're able to digest back out in different forms. So when you look at Ice-T playing a cop on Law and Order, and his album being Cop Killer, right?
Early 90s.
Right, but I bet you he watched Starsky and Hutch, Beretta. I bet you he watched Columbo and all the great things that was on TV when we was kids, and I bet you that there was an imagination there that inspired him. And then also, hip hop artists have a certain bravado.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you could carry that bravado anywhere. John Wayne, one of the baddest mans, on the screen, voice, big body, gun, he'll smack you down. You know what I mean? But hip hop artists got that same type of bravado. You know what I mean? So you give them a chance to get in front of that screen, as you said, LL Cool J, or look at Method Man, who's playing a lawyer. You know what I mean? He's playing a lawyer, and his muscles are everywhere now, right? Like,
But he's flexing, and speaking about flexing, one of the many roles, we're going to talk about many of them, but you're here at South by flexing your actor muscle in this movie Problemista. Tell us about the movie, and well, tell us what you can about the movie and your role in it.
Well, first of all, the Studio A24, I mean,
That one big last night,
One big
everything
last night.
everywhere, all at once swept.
yeah, and even if you look at The Well, which is from them, they've been able to tell unique stories and give unique people a chance to tell their stories. And Problemista fits right in that category. It's a very unique film. Tilda Swinton gives an incredible performance. Julio Torres, so funny. You know, if I could categorize it, if I could categorize it, I could just speak in film language. It's like what happens if you mix Woody Allen and Spike Jonze, right? Like,
Throw in some RZA.
yeah, throwing some RZA and put all that energy. But it's a very interesting film. I play an actual painter in the film, so it's pretty crazy role for me, I think, in a sense. But it's fun. It's fun and it's deep.
Were you able to role play and get into being a painter just to prepare for the role?
Yeah, like I think what I did was I watched Jeffrey Wright.
Basquiat.
Yeah. You know, Jeffrey's one of the greatest. So if you want to learn something, right?
And he's done it all: stage, theater, TV.
He's one of the greatest. So I just checked him out, and of course I'm not Jeffrey Wright, but I was able to absorb a little bit of energy from how he did his thing, and then me as a natural artist, just put that little blend together.
And you know, speaking about the stretches of seeing you as an artist and a Problemista, you're a painter, and then Bob Odenkirk was here recently with his new show, and I'm watching Nobody, the action movie, and his right-hand man, his homie, who helps save him, spoiler alert, who enters? None other than
Dun, 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 the
RZA. And real quick, Bob Odenkirk felt compelled to teach me how to hold a gun in the movies. It's not like this, like Steven Seagal.
Right.
He took immense pride. It's like, did I get it?
You got it right. That's right.
So
you don't want it to cock back and cut your hand, which has happened to me before.
But Bob Odenkirk, he took that role. He wanted to stretch, and so when you show up, people are like, wait, I wasn't expecting the RZA and that. When you took that role, was that to expand what people think about you and what you could do?
Yeah, you know, it's also, look, there's a lot of great directors in our business, talent that also like to tell their stories a certain way. The director had reached out to me, the producers, they think this is something really cool and think I'm the right guy for it. And so it was freezing shooting that movie, and I don't like the cold.
I don't like it either.
You know what I mean? But I went, and we sat there up in, I think, Winnipeg, and we delivered a classic action movie. And for me, yeah, it's always fun to do something different. I could make a small confession for you. I don't know if I ever said this. So to me, acting is like the best therapy. Because as a director or producer, I find myself worrying about everything. You know, worrying about the snare being high, the hi-hat, worrying about the color correction, the costumes. I've been in my costume department cutting with the scissors to get the costume right. But as an actor, I get to remove myself and have one focus. And I've found it very therapeutic. And I try to make a mantra for myself, which is after every challenging project, try to do a movie. And as soon as I wrapped the season of Wu-Tang and American Saga
On HULU?
Yep, Problemista came up. I said, yeah, I'm going to go and unwind. And
Unwind by doing a high-pressure movie that millions of people are going to watch.
yeah, but the pressure is different, I'm telling you, for me. And I heard an actor say that the other day. What's the brother? It was the African brother, Toby. Yeah, he's in the new Transformers. But he actually said the same thing. And I was like, you know what? I said it myself, okay? I didn't say it out loud. But I was like, I get it. He's right. Like, we worry about so many things. And when you are acting, you actually leave yourself and become this character. And people around you have to worry about you, to capture what they need. So it's a very therapeutic thing for me.
It requires a singular focus, and it requires empathy, I think, and it requires vulnerability.
Yeah.
Just listening to you, to put yourself in that space. And these are words growing up when you talked about the machismo of the hip hop star, right? Hip hop stars in the 80s and 90s, growing up, they had to front always. They had to be hard, right? And I think what you are modeling is, especially in the show on Hulu, is a vulnerability and honesty. Like, we're dads.
Yeah.
We have anxiety.
Yeah.
We have doubt. Like, this language, for the young heads, this language did not exist 20 years ago.
Yeah, you know, and think about our fathers. Our fathers probably never told us that they love us. Like, that wasn't like, hey, I love you, son.
They show in different ways.
Yeah, you had to work for that. So, look, we are men, women, and children on this planet. You know what I mean? No matter from what ethnic or creed, you know, we're all experiencing this life. And life has all the elements. As we say in Shaolin, you have sweet, bitter, and sour, okay? And spicy. You know what I mean?
love the spicy.
So all these different things you deal with daily. And of course, you know, me being Brooklyn, Staten Island, if you look back at some of my old pictures, you won't find me smiling. And you still won't catch me smiling. You got to actually watch me on the screen or catch me in an interview to smile. Like, look at my pictures. And that is because of this hard shell that we was conditioned to put on. You know what I mean? Conditioned. We totally understand it. You know, times was rough growing up in the hood, as they call it, and the danger was lurking all around you, and meekness was considered weakness. Right. You know what I mean? But as you grow older and you mature, and you say, well, blessed be the meek, it says in the Bible, right? It says the meek shall inherit the earth. And I love that line because when I went further back in the Bible, and I like to read the Bible, the Quran, Bhagavad Gita, but in the Bible there's a beautiful story about King David. And the prophet is looking for who's going to be the next king. And they go see his father Jesse. And he's like, oh, he show him all his big, strong sons.
And ends up being.
Yeah, he's like, no, these guys ain't it. He says, well, you have another son? Yeah, David. He's the little skinny one that's taking care of the sheep. So let me go see him. Yeah, he's the king.
Yeah.
So
and he's the one who takes out Goliath.
Yeah, exactly. Because blessed be the meek. So we should, you know, as we are evolving, as we raising our children, and I try to raise my children with that idea.
Yeah, and that's pretty bold coming from you, who grew up in that generation and represented a voice and face of hip hop, and still does, because as we're confronting as men, toxic masculinity, what we were conditioned, right? Men, you don't emote, you suffer quietly, you suffer well, and then you die. That's it. That's it. You just die. That's it. And die well too, by the way. And we know as men and as fathers that what that does to a person inside, right? You're not allowed to emote, and emotion comes from the Greek word to let out. And I feel like it's interesting when you're talking about acting, how you find it therapeutic, because
you get to let it out. Yeah.
You got to let it out.
Yeah, and I think we should also, as men, and I say this to the men who are watching this, there's so many great men in history that dealt with all emotions. You know, King Solomon cried, King David wept. You know what I mean? The Prophet Muhammad as well. You know, wept, man.
Kissed his children, loved his wife.
Yeah, Buddha. You know, all these men have had the experience, and it was warriors. Don't get it twisted. King David chopped a lot of heads off. Not talking like that, but my motto is, you know, we should always come in peace. But yeah, be prepared for war, because, you know, there's some things out there in the world that is trying to get inside your system, like pathogens. You know what I mean? And you got to have a defense for that. But at the same time, you got to eat. Right? So you understand what I mean by that?
And you got me on 2 tracks now, but you said you got to eat, and it makes me think that you are a proud vegetarian, right?
Yeah, vegan too.
Yeah, you're
mostly
vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the case then for many in our cultures, especially, man, I'm a man, I must eat meat, you know? And now we're learning, if you want to save yourself, you want to save the planet, go flexitarian, 70% vegetarian, 30% meat. The case that you can make for those who are like, nah, man, I'm a man, I eat meat. The positives to save ourselves by going vegetarian.
Exactly. I mean, we have so many misconceptions that we didn't know no better. You know, we thought 3 meals a day, eating steak and meat every day was healthy for you. Then to come to find out, most Americans, especially in the early 2000s, the doctor said most Americans had 22 pounds of undigested red meat.
And that is not good for you.
No. That's worse than a dad bod. Okay, that's dad hip, thighs, butt, and neck. And at the end of the day, look, man, you know, don't live to eat to live. You know what I mean? If there's something that you need, yeah, of course you're gonna have to do that. If you know, when I always looked in the word sacrifice a lamb, like they would say that, right? And that's like when the time comes and you have to feed a whole group of people, yeah, you may have to sacrifice that lamb because that's how you're gonna feed everybody. But naturally, our bodies survive off of the same proteins that the cow that we eat survive off of. You know, bulls and cows have flat teeth like we do. You know, we're not full of all those canines. We got a couple just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case you might have to eat a little bit of meat.
But we're always supposed to eat a little bit of meat.
Yeah.
You talked about the prophets. Even the prophets said, eat meat, but a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. But now, you know, when you're looking at this, and you're a vegan, you're a proud vegan, and you're seeing what's happening in the world, these trends are where more people are going towards veganism, you know, synthetic meat. Is there anything that gives you hope when it comes to the future of food? That, you know what, we might get this right?
Well, only thing I could say about it, right, you know, I don't want to get too scientific because that's my hobby, is science.
Man, this is the space. South by Southwest. We've been talking about food and science for the last 2 days. Go for it.
Well, it's just like, for us, right, well, we got to kind of get back to agriculture and growing. We actually are losing in that. And we are doing a lot of synthetic planting, so it's going to be a synthetic effect on our body. So that's just overall. But I will say that it is getting better in the sense of young people are growing up realizing that they don't have to get and eat that dead cow or that dead chicken. You know what I mean? There are alternatives. I just would like to see us, especially as Americans, you know, to put more investment into farming. Like, who knows how to farm?
Well, also not just farming, but communities of color oftentimes, they would love to eat vegetables if they had vegetables in their community.
Well, that comes from farming, right?
Yeah.
You know, New York, the mayor did something really cool in New York, I think. He actually put a subsidized budget for people they put farms on their roofs, which is cool. That means that you go to Brooklyn, you got a whole roof with some soil, with some product growing, and it's
And
fresh.
who doesn't enjoy it?
Everybody
That's
enjoy
if
it.
they have access to it.
Yeah.
I wish I could talk to you for an hour, man, about so many different things. But I know you got to go, and I have 90 seconds left. I have to bring this up. You have a tour, right?
Yeah.
With Nas.
With Nas.
My homie RZA Hashmi, big Wu-Tang fan. I told him that I'm talking to you today. He said first and foremost he's gonna be there.
Nice.
And I said any question you can ask him. And I was really surprised by this question. He goes, please ask RZA about his investment in the Wu-Tang Chess Federation.
Wow.
With the minute that we have.
Yes. Well, I would say, you know, I love chess. And right now, the RZA is leading the pack for the Wu family into the chess world. Got a nice documentary coming out. And it's a whole bunch of chess things that are coming in the future.
All right.
A whole bunch of chess.
So chess, inshallah.
Yeah.
And shout out to the movie, your first movie that you directed, Man with the Iron Fists.
Yeah, Man with the Iron Fist, for those who didn't.
Russell Crowe's in it.
Yeah, we got Russell Crowe, Dave Bautista, first Hollywood role. And then I did a one called Love Beats Rhymes, which Method Man and Common and Jill Scott. And Cutthroat City you should check out, which I felt really proud of.
Which was at South by.
Yeah, yep, Ethan Hawke and Shamik Moore, of course, Terrence Howard, beautiful people working.
And just for the hobby, RZA's into science.
Bong, and I'm into science for the hobby. Studying viruses and microbiology as well as quantum.
Of course.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Problemista screens tonight at 9:30 at the Paramount Theater. You can also watch Wu-Tang and American Saga on Hulu, or check out the band live during their 2023 World Tour with Nas. We'll be back live at 3 this afternoon to talk about the future of sex with sex tech expert Brianni Cole. These interviews are also streaming live during the event on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/SXSW. I'm Wajahat Ali. Thank you for watching.